What's up? Welcome back to Kiss During a Movie. Today we're talking about Hellboy, more specifically, his comics. Though I haven't finished reading the series and only a few issues, I wanted to talk about him because, so far, all I've seen is goated character writing. To give you a brief rundown, Hellboy was summoned to Earth by Rasputin, yes, that Rasputin, and the Nazis during World War II, so around the 40s. He was found first by Professor Brutenholm, pronounced Broom, in the BPRD, the Bureau of Paranormal Research and Defense. Magic, vampires, and Frankenstein's monsters, along with folklore that shared in multiple cultures, are an accepted part of that world. And the BPRD are the ones who specialize in that field. And when they found him, they raised him to help the world despite the destiny that Rasputin had planned for him.
Come on now, dog.
He has a demon physiology, so he has stuff like enhanced strength, durability, and agility. He also has this big stone-like hand called the Right Hand of Doom, which is basically a weapon of mass destruction, but he uses it for good, so.
New face filters on Instagram today. This is my favorite one so far. Nice job, team.
I was super surprised when I read the comic because he didn't act anything like any of the films I've seen beforehand, which consists of the Guillermo del Toro and Ron Perlman interpretation of the character. Now, don't get me wrong, I love those movies and they're my introduction to the character in the first place, but they made him very childlike and sort of like an angsty teenager. The only thing wrong with this is this guy was summoned to Earth in like the 40s, so he was already maybe 2 or 3 by that point. He's acting like an angsty teenager in his 60s or 70s by this point, and that just doesn't sit right with me. That's actually my main issue with the films. Besides that, it was just how drastically different he is in between the comics and the movies. In the comics, he acts closer to his age while still being with the times and not acting like this.
How do you do, fellow kids?
He's super monotone in most cases, and when he gets angry or gets an attitude, it's not because some new guy came in and he didn't like him. He's much less intimidating in the sense that he's actually a pretty good-hearted and caring guy and isn't scared to show that. That's also not me saying the Ron Perlman interpretation isn't a good guy, he just hides it a lot more. His actual work and tall bulky frame speaks for him rather than just acting like a somewhat angry dude all the time. I don't know. This wasn't meant to be a comparison video, but there's so many interesting differences between them. Like the fact that in the film he's treated more like a reckless beast, and in his comics he's a trusted agent doing his job. Before I leave this rant, I also wanted to point out how he and Liz have less of a romance and more of a genuine friendship. He really does act like your average guy, and you think he has anger issues with how he approaches the film, but he just gets irritated in ways anybody would. Somebody hits him, he gets angry. Somebody he cares about gets taken, he yells, just like any other person would. It's not like he wins every fight either. He's just super durable and gets very lucky predicaments, even if he loses some blood in the process. I mean, he really is just doing his job. Also, Mike Mignola's artwork just works with Hellboy so well. The hard shadows usually blend with the melancholy and gothic tone of the book and Hellboy's character so well. It's great. Getting a little bit deeper or more profound, his destiny as Anung Rama, which is his birth name, was to become the King of England, where Excalibur is located, and lead the apocalypse and the destruction of the world. So far from what I've read, he really doesn't want to know about his destiny or who he really is because it disturbs him. He does his best to get away from his destiny, and that fleshes him out a lot in my opinion. That's also a perfect segue into talking about Hellboy's design in this comic book. He's depicted usually wearing a trench coat, but when you take it off, he obviously has red skin, he's taller than your average human, he has these like slouched shoulders, which I think looks really cool, especially just giving off the impression that he really is more of your average guy than some kind of all-powerful superhero, you know? Like he's just doing his job. He has some pointed ears, he has these yellow eyes, this really big underbite, along with the whole reason I transitioned from that section into this section are his sanded down horns. I think it's a really cool aspect because it's just another knock into, hey, he's trying to get as far away as he can from his demon heritage or destiny. He also has a really cool red tail, and he has these hooved feet, which I also think are really cool. Basically everything about his design is super cool, to me at least. And then he has, obviously, the Right Hand of Doom, which looks awesome and is an awesome tool. And, yeah, anyways. Alright, I'm gonna do a recap of like the first 1 or 2 issues to show you guys the tone of the book, what it's like, and what Hellboy's character is like. Going by issue 1, the minute this dude is summoned, he was ore farming at like 4 years old. Look at him! And then goes by Professor Broom basically explaining how Hellboy was summoned, until then going on a rant about how the older he gets, the less he remembers. Sad stuff. Hellboy pulls up. That's where he's the goat! And sort of comforts the professor until he sees some frogs hopping around him in the office. Broom sees this and starts freaking out, running into the pitch black hallway. Hellboy is visibly confused, like he always is, and presumably a few seconds later, Professor Broom gets thrown back into the office, but this time, dead. When I was reading this, I was genuinely perplexed, because we're in maybe the first 5 pages of the comic, but this got packed up. I'm not kidding. Hellboy freezes for a second, then locks in, throws his coat off, takes out his Good Samaritan, and gets to work with whatever's outside the door. No fear. This dude's a G. He runs out to see this giant frog-looking thing, and they start scrapping. It wraps its freaky suction cup tongue around HB's arm, pretty reasonably grossed out by this, and lands a nice juicer with the right hand of doom to get him off. Hellboy does a lot of narrating in this comic. It's very reminiscent of those pulp detective books or films. In this issue, he narrates and describes the pain he feels in a lot of detail, and that was refreshing to read in a superhero comic. Yes, he's a superhero. A lot of heroes don't describe the pain or outright act like they haven't been hurt at all, but Hellboy is very open and expressive about it in this world of fantasy and folklore, and adds some realism that I really like. This first issue wasn't written by Mike Mignola, the creator of the character, because he didn't trust himself to do that yet. So I like this dialogue, I like the narration. I like the first comic more than the rest so far. That's not a knock to Mike Mignola, by the way, because he's the goat for even creating Hellboy. Anyways, he shoots the frog thing and it dies. Later on, Hellboy, along with Liz Sherman, who is another BPRD agent, and a pyrokinetic, basically meaning she can control fire. She packed up her whole family back in the day because she lost control of her powers, which is why she was taken in by the BPRD in the first place. So she's pretty dangerous. Abe Sapien also tagged along. He's a man-turned fish found in a tube by some plumbers in the basement of a hospital in Washington, D.C. They got his name from a note pinned near his tube that had the date of Abraham Lincoln's death on it. So, Abe Sapien. Really cool design too. Anywho, they go to this mansion to help investigate the murder of Professor Broom, and the lady who lives there has 3 sons who have gone missing recently. They ask a few questions, then the butler leads them to their rooms. When we're left alone with the lady, Rasputin steps out of the shadows and reveals that they're working together in order for him to give her sons back. Spoiler, her sons have been turned into the frog dudes by Rasputin. Hellboy and Abe talk a bit before Abe jumps into the nearby lake to investigate what's going on under there. HB radios to Liz, who mentions frogs, and Hellboy, knowing Professor Broom got packed up when the frogs came around, panics and goes to her room and sees that he was too late. He looks over to the butler and accuses him, who's weirdly very calm, and then he turns into a frog guy. They start scrapping. He packs the frog dude up and then finds the lady from earlier dead in the corner. Anyways, Rasputin spawns in, and HB almost packs him up too before getting pulled under the house by this tentacle monster thing. He falls for a bit until he lands in a little body of water under the house. Once he stands up, Rasputin starts doing your average villain monologue, basically saying that HB should give in to his destiny. He isn't going for it, so he blasts him right in the face. Rasputin says some magic gibberish and Hellboy gets hit a few feet away. Also, Rasputin can't die, which supposedly is a tie-in to the real person Rasputin, who was rumored to, he can never be killed basically. Also, why is this dude so bald? I understand that maybe they hadn't cemented his design yet, but this is just wrong. Look at it. Ew. Another frog dude pulls up, and HB has to scrap again. Time to go 3 for 3. Holy god, he's bald again. We switch over to Abe Sapien view, and he sees the frog dudes carrying their mothers into the lake. Even when monsters, they still have humanity. Skipping forward a bit, since I'm kind of running out of time with filming this, Hellboy finds out Liz is being used by Rasputin to get closer to whatever goal he has. Him and Abe save her, and the day is saved for now. Yo, thanks for watching. I hope you found this video interesting, and if you'd like to see more, comment down below, like or subscribe if you'd like. This is one of my first YouTube videos, so I'm still trying to figure out this whole thing, but I'm hoping to build an audience who can just talk about interesting things like this. Like I said, Hellboy's comics really interested me, and the differences between him and the film adaptation interested me too. Anyways, that's going to conclude my video. If you liked it, let me know. Thanks so much for watching. Drink your water, have a blessed day, be yourself. Deuces.